So I thought it might be helpful to discuss some of the reasons why I chose different materials for my floor trusses, for my roof rafters, and especially because I'm building a 5-story multi-generational passive ICF house. So when you've got 5 levels, 6 technically if you include the roof, you have a lot of options to go with. And so in my case, it is 48 feet down to the bottom where my crawl space is up to the top. And my crawl space, I say crawl space, but technically it's 6'2" down there. So let's talk about the different materials that I chose for the different levels and some of the reasons why I chose to go. So I guess since I'm on the top, let's go ahead and talk about the top. So as you can see behind me, I finally have my I-joist. So it's the Boise Cascade 6000 series 11 7/8. And the reason why I chose to go with the I-joist is, one, it was less expensive than the open web floor trusses. And actually, maybe before I talk about these 3 different options that I have, let me go ahead and just show you real quick. For those of you who are not familiar with your different options for both trusses or joists, and trusses technically I guess is what they call anything that holds up the roof, and then floor trusses or floor joists for anything that holds up the floors. So I went with 3 different options. You've got the solid sawn lumber, so the 2x12s, open web floor trusses that are engineered, and then the I-joist, the wooden I-joist, also referred to as TGIs, whatever. Those can also be either the roof rafters or could also be my floor joist. So let's talk about some of the reasons why I went with the different ones. So roof rafter, I decided to go with the I-joist for a number of reasons. One of the reasons is in terms of how accurate it is. I mean, I know that what I'm going to get is 11 7/8. Whereas if you go with 2x12s, yeah, who knows what you're going to get. And they also are warped. And I haven't had warped I-joists show up, and they're all 11 7/8. And so I want to have a dead flat roof because I do have a monoslope roof. And so I want to make sure that everything that I put up there is exact. Open web floor trusses are close, but not nearly as close when it comes to how accurate you get from whoever you're buying it from. So I decided to go with the I-joist up there. One of the downsides of a wooden I-joist is in the unlikely event of a fire, those suckers are a huge danger to the firefighters because that little OSB that is in between the I-joist, that doesn't offer much fire protection. However, in my case, because the entire bays in between all of those I-joists are going to be filled with cellulose insulation, I'm not worried about it because that cellulose insulation is impregnated with chemicals to help prevent fire from raging through it. And so it's actually going to be a very tight fire assembly. The other reason why I'm not worried about it is because I have zero penetrations going through my roof. None. I have my plumbing vents going out the side per code. And in terms of any electrical up in the ceiling, it's actually not going to be in the ceiling cavity. I'm doing what's called strapping, which is very familiar to any of you who live in the Northeast, but in essence, it's 1x2s that are attached to the bottom of my I-joist. And then that's actually where my where the lights will go and any electricity. So I won't have any electricity up there, no plumbing. I don't have to drill through any of the I-joists, and so that's why it was less expensive than the open web floor trusses, more expensive than the 2x12s, I will admit, but like I said, I need to have a dead level, dead plumb roof, and I didn't want to mess around with the 2x12s. So that's the reason why I went with I-joists for my top level. Now let's go ahead and talk about each of the levels going down. So I'm currently standing on the 5th level, or the 3rd floor above grade. And what I went with, as you can see, are the open web floor trusses. So these are engineered to be 2 feet on center. They're able to handle the weight And one of the benefits of doing DIY work is you end up saving a ton of money on labor, and you're able to invest that money into things that make your life easier. Because I'm the one that's going to be pulling all the Romex. I'm the one who's going to be pulling all the PEX. I'm the one who's going to be putting all the plumbing pipes in. And when you're dealing with joists, you're having to drill holes for every single one of those things that I just talked about. Whereas with an engineered open web floor truss, there's some really nice big gaps that I'm going to easily be able to put my my plumbing and electrical and all of my wires, everything through. And so yes, that was more expensive, but in my mind, it's totally worth it because twofold. One, open web floor trusses, when a firefighter knows that they go into an open web floor truss home that's on fire, then they know that they have significantly longer before they have to worry about the floor collapsing. If you go into an joist house that's on fire, you're taking your life into your own hands because the floors can collapse very quickly. Solid sawn wood, 2x12s, but awesome, totally fine. But, so now let's talk about where I did and didn't put the 2x12s, but before I do, I'll just go ahead and mention. So for every single one of these levels, except for down on the basement floor, so my crawl space ceiling, there's a couple of spots where I did go with either joists or with the 2x12s. But everywhere else, I went ahead and paid for the open web floor trusses. Another benefit actually that I should mention is 2 people. So my open web floor trusses are about 31 feet 10 inches wide from side to side. And so because of that, 2 people actually can lift one of them up. It's kind of heavy, but it's very doable. When it comes to joists, yeah, 1 person can pick it up, no problem. Actually, I did pick up the really long open web floor trusses, but it's a lot of weight and it was difficult. In terms of installing them, you definitely want 2 people. But for joists, like what I've got above me, yeah, that's super easy for 1 person to maneuver those around. 2x12s, you're also limited. To easily get access to them, you're limited to 16 feet in length. And so the spots that I do have them down as the basement floor are in areas where I have no plumbing, no electrical, because drilling through 2x12s is a pain in the butt. And then I also don't have to worry about squeaks. It may end up squeaking. 2x12s are notorious for squeaking. I've lived in homes that were built from 2x12s, and they are notorious for eventually squeaking. But the areas that I have them is in my mudroom. So the only people that are going to hear the squeaks is, this will hopefully be decades down the road, is anyone walking through the mudroom and the crawl space below. And that doesn't matter. So I went with the 2x12s because it was significantly less expensive, and it was in an area that I didn't need to do any electrical or any plumbing drilling through it. And then I do have the joists in the ceiling of the basement going into the first level in 1 spot. But once again, it's a pretty small spot, so not too worried about that. But everywhere else, I decided to go with the open web floor trusses, both for fire, but also for my ease in installing all of the electrical and the plumbing. So hopefully that's helpful to, actually let's go ahead and talk about, because I am building an ICF, but in terms of connecting these joists / rafters. And the more that I think about it, I think I'll actually shoot another video, because this one's getting kind of long. So I'll shoot another video that talks about the different ways that you are able to connect your trusses / joists to ICF walls. So if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe so you can follow along on this crazy journey as I DIY build this multi-generational 5-story ICF house, passive ICF house. So thanks for watching.